For our first SAT prep, we're going to read the passage below and answer questions 1 through 4. Sometimes it might help to read the questions first. So if we look at the first question, in the passage, the word crude, line 2 means. The first sentence of the paragraph can best be described as intended to. From the passage, one can infer the characters are in a. And according to the passage, people are communicating that they are capable of. Okay, so we need to see what the characters are communicating, where they might be, what the first sentence tells us, and what the line 2 means, or what the word crude in line 2 means. Let's go ahead and read the passage. The wind came back with triple fury and put out the light for the last time. They sat in company with the others in other shanties, their eyes straining against crude walls, and their souls asking if he meant to measure their puny might against his. So if we go back to line 2, their eyes straining against crude walls, and their souls asking if he meant to measure their puny might against his. So it has a negative connotation. So crude probably doesn't mean brilliant. The walls are not brilliant. This would be more of a positive connotation. Okay, if we look at A, the walls might be hazardous. If we look at C, it says arduous. So arduous just means difficult. Are the walls difficult? Probably not. So we can eliminate B and C. Rudimentary just means basic. Basic walls, maybe. And crass means rude. So the walls probably aren't being rude. So the 2 answers that we have left are hazardous and rudimentary. So we can try to put those into the sentence. Their eyes straining against hazardous walls, and their souls asking if he meant to measure their puny might against his. Maybe. Let's try rudimentary. Their eyes straining against rudimentary walls, and their souls asking if he meant to measure their puny might against his. So rudimentary sounds like a better choice. So we're going to go with D, rudimentary. Now if we look at number 2, it's about the first sentence. The first sentence, the wind came back with triple fury and put out the light for the last time. So in this last sentence, it's kind of telling us that there's a large wind. So is it intended to set up the antagonist? Maybe. Set up the paragraph's meaning. Doesn't really sound like it's setting up the meaning. Provide details. It could be providing details. Promoting a fairy tale. No, it definitely doesn't sound like a fairy tale. Or providing a setting. So it sounds, the wind came back with triple fury and put out the light for the last time. It sounds like it's saying the wind is like in charge. So the wind lends itself to the setting. So we're going to say that this first sentence is giving us a setting. It could be setting up the antagonist, but in the last sentence, it says their puny might against his. So the antagonist sounds like a male, and they don't really give male characteristics to the wind. Okay, number 3. From the passage, one can infer the characters are in a... Okay, so if we look at the first sentence that's providing us with the setting, doesn't really give us the idea that they're in a park. They could be in a storm. Not a fire because the light is being put out, so it's not a fire. There's nothing that makes us think it's an earthquake or a tsunami. So B is the best answer. They're in a storm. Okay, for number 4, the people are communicating that they are capable of surviving the situation, sitting and waiting for help, taking care of themselves, turning the light back on, leaving the shanty on their own. So they might survive the situation, but we're not really sure about that. And taking care of themselves is pretty similar to surviving the situation. So we're going to eliminate those 2 answers. It says the light has gone out for the last time. So they're probably not capable of turning the light back on. So we've eliminated A, C, and D. So that leaves us with sitting and waiting for help or leaving the shanty on their own. It says they sat in company with the others in other shanties, their eyes straining against crude walls and their souls asking if he meant to measure their puny might against his. It definitely sounds like they're puny. So, and they sat in company with the others. So it sounds like they're just waiting for help. And they're not going to be able to leave on their own. So we're going to go with B, sitting and waiting for help. So when you're doing questions in context, you want to make sure you read the paragraph. It's helpful to read the questions first as well, and then go back through the paragraph each time to answer the questions. If you can answer the questions without going to the paragraph each time, that's fine. But when it says line 2, you definitely want to go check that line out.